You've been taught to think of your credit score like a report card. Behave well, the number goes up. Slip up, it drops. A grade you earn. That's not what it is. Your credit score is a product, built about you, by companies you've never spoken to, and sold to anyone willing to pay. Once you see it that way, a lot of confusing things suddenly make sense. Here's the reframe. When you check your grade at school, the school is measuring you for you. But your credit score isn't built for you. You're not the customer. You're the raw material. The customer is the bank, the landlord, the insurer, the phone company, anyone deciding whether to trust you with money. They pay for a number that predicts one thing: how likely you are to pay them back. Everything about how the score works makes sense the moment you accept that. So let me show you who's really involved and what it means for you. Start with a strange fact. The companies that hold your entire financial history are ones you never chose, never signed a contract with, and probably can't name. They're called credit bureaus. A small handful of them quietly collect your borrowing behavior. Every loan, every card, every missed payment, from the banks you do deal with. You never agreed to this directly. It happens in the background, as a condition of the system you're already inside. I work with data systems, so this pattern is familiar. The people whose data is most valuable are usually the ones with the least visibility into where it goes. You're the product being described, but the transaction happens over your head, between the bank that reports your behavior and the bureau that packages it. Now, what does the number actually measure? Not what most people think. It does not measure how good with money you are. It doesn't know your income, your savings, or how careful you are. It measures one narrow thing: how profitable and predictable you are as a borrower. That's why the system does things that feel backwards. Someone who pays cash for everything and never borrows can have almost no score, because there's no data to sell. Meanwhile, someone deep in debt, but always paying the minimum on time, can score well, because they're a reliable, profitable borrower. The score doesn't reward being financially healthy. It rewards being a predictable source of interest. Once you understand that, you stop taking the number personally. It was never a measure of your character. It's a measure of your usefulness to a lender. Here's where it gets sharper. Notice how much free help improving your score is suddenly everywhere. Apps, websites, your own bank, all eager to show you your score for free. Ask the builder's question. Why would they give that away? Because your score is the perfect trigger for selling you things. A low score? Here's a credit builder product. A high score? You're pre-approved for this card, this loan, this offer. The free score check is a storefront, and your number decides which products it shows you. I've built platforms that run on exactly this logic. The free tool exists to route you toward the paid one, so a lot of improve your credit advice isn't neutral guidance. It's a funnel, genuinely useful sometimes, but never only trying to help you. So if it's a product about you, what do you do about it? Two things change once you see it clearly. First, you stop chasing the number for its own sake and start using it as a tool, a key that unlocks better rates when you need to borrow, nothing more. Second, and more important, you check what's in the file, because the product being sold about you can contain mistakes, and errors in that file can cost you real money, in higher rates, or a no you didn't deserve. You usually have the right to see your own file and to dispute what's wrong in it. Almost nobody uses that right, but it's the one piece of real power you have in a system built mostly over your head, the ability to correct the product before it's sold. So, is your credit score a report card? No, it's a product, built about you, from data you didn't hand over directly, sold to people deciding whether you're worth the risk. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to stop taking the number personally and start treating it like what it is, a file about you, that you're allowed to inspect, correct, and use on your own terms. The people who understand this don't fear their score. They manage it, like any other product with their name on it. Check your file. Fix what's wrong. Use the number when you need it, and ignore it the rest of the time. That's the whole game. If this shifted how you see it, the next one's on why everything is becoming a subscription, and why companies would rather rent you things forever than sell them once. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.